So it's the Premier League results show, week 18. Let's kick off with Arsenal versus Burnley. Arsenal coming off 2 defeats. Burnley, well, they've been struggling all season. Got off to a rip-roaring start with 2 chances in the first couple of minutes, one for each side. Firstly, Arsenal brought a great save out of Hart, and then Burnley went down the other end, and Westwood hit his shot just wide of Leno's goal. To 13 minutes then, and a very nicely worked goal. Ozil back in the side, had the captain's armband, picked up the ball on the edge of the box, and his deft crossfield pass to the far end was ran onto by the left back Kolasinac, who chipped the ball back across goal, and Aubameyang, that poacher among poachers, was there to prod the ball in past Hart. 1-0 to the Gunners. Burnley held their own for the rest of the half. We went in at the break 1-0, but within minutes of the restart, a swift counter-attack by Arsenal, Kolasinac romping down the left, pushes the ball infield to Lacazette, who quickly delivers the ball to Aubameyang just inside the box, and he rifled in the ball into the top of the net, and it was far too powerful for Hart, so the Gunners were 2 up. Burnley got a bit of resolve, and they started to have a bit more of the ball, and on 63 minutes they were rewarded when Barnes lashed in a chance in the box following a ricochet and some clumsy defending from the Gunners. So Burnley back in it at 2-1, and at that stage it could have gone either way, but Emery rang some changes, Iwobi came on, and it was him who delivered the final blow on 91, scoring after a deflected pass from Ozil had hit a defender. It fell at Iwobi's feet, and he forced the ball into the goal past Hart, and Arsenal had their win by 3-1. So to the Friday night match at Molineux. Liverpool were the visitors. A terrible night for football. It was torrential rain most of the night, and the look on the faces of the 2 coaches summed it up. But it was an entertaining game. Early chance for Traore, who shot just wide, and then Saiss forced a good save from Alisson early on. But it was Liverpool on 18 minutes who got the opener. Fabinho managed to get to the byline, and his cross was flicked in with aplomb by Salah, and it was 1-0 to the Reds. Wolves didn't drop their heads, and Doherty intercepted a sloppy pass, but his shot was well saved. So to the second half, and the second goal from Liverpool. A corner wasn't cleared well. Salah got to it, and his cross was anticipated by Van Dijk, who charged into the box, and his finish was cute, and it went in the corner, and it was 2-0. There was a late rally from Wolves. Gibbs-White should have scored, but he managed to hit the side netting, and Liverpool cantered to a 2-0 win to go 4 ahead at the top. To the Etihad, Crystal Palace were the visitors. This looked like a banker home win. Funny game, football. City had Sterling back in midfield. De Bruyne and Aguero were keeping the bench warm. Saha was back for Palace, as was Slop. Stones was playing in midfield again. 27 minutes after City dominated, Delph with a pinpoint cross found Gundogan completely unmarked, and it was 1-0 with a header. But Palace, they really responded well, and on 33 minutes, some neat trickery from Saha on the right. The ball managed to get to Slop on the edge of the box, and he managed to hit a strike the ball into the left-hand corner of Edison's goal, our right as we were looking at it, and it was one each. Then amazingly, 2 minutes later, a free kick for Palace was sort of cleared by the City defence. The header out was met on the volley by the Townsend, and he hit a volley that was absolutely unbelievable. It rocketed into the net. You will not see a better goal all season. And all of a sudden, Palace were up 2-1. And they held that lead with relative comfort to the break. Into the second half then, and things got even better. From a cross, a Palace header hit the post, the ball rebounded out, and Walker followed up by clipping Meyer's legs in the box. Palace penalty, and Milivojevic converted with ease, and all of a sudden we were staring at an amazing scoreline. It was 3-1 to Palace. Well, typically after that it was all City, but Palace's rearguard defence was holding firm. Sani did hit a post from a free kick, and Aguero and De Bruyne were sent on. It took a free cross come shot from De Bruyne on 85 minutes that went straight in the net to bring them back to 3-2. Jesus had a header just over, but Palace hung on, and Palace took the 3 points remarkably by 3-2. To the Cardiff then, the Manchester United Red Devils were there. What a week it's been at Old Trafford. This was the first game in charge for the temporary coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And well, he must have dreamt about this, because things just couldn't have gone any better. It was a completely different side. The personnel were much the same, but the attitude was completely different. We saw a Manchester United free-flowing football, great teamwork, and some excellent finishing. It all started on 3 minutes. A free kick outside the box, and Rashford blasted the ball through the wall into the net, and it was 1-0. 29 minutes, Herrera hit a 30-yarder, which deceived Etheridge, I think, swerved into the right-hand corner, and it was 2-0. Then the only minor blemish on the performance, Rashford inadvertently handballed, and Camarasi converted the 38-minute penalty to bring the score back to 2-1. However, 41 minutes, a great move linking Martial, Pogba and Lingard, and Martial finished it off with a plum. Great team goal, 3-1 United. Into the second half then, 57th minutes, a penalty kick for the Red Devils. Lingard stepped up, replacing Pogba, who missed a couple, and he pushed. He was pushed, and he got up and took the penalty, and it was a 4-1. A fifth ride on 90 minutes, a great pass from Pogba was tucked away neatly by Lingard, and we had a result: Cardiff 1, Manchester United 5. Now, where's that been all season? Still, I'm overjoyed. at least the doldrums may well be behind them. To Stamford Bridge then, Leicester were the visitors. Hazard was looking for his 100th Premier League goal for Chelsea. Early chances for Chelsea. Willian created one for Pedro, which went just wide, and Hazard hit the bar after an error by Maguire. Natidi, though, for Leicester, the best chance for them, brought a magnificent save from the Chelsea keeper. We got to the break, it was goalless. On 51 minutes, the best move of the match, delightful passing move by Leicester, a great final pass from Maddison to Vardy, and he smacked it in the right corner with a great deal of confidence, and the Foxes were 1-up. After that, Schmeichel came to Leicester's rescue. He forced away a Hazard strike, and he kept them at bay. A late chance for Rudiger, who headed wide, should have scored, and Alonso also hit a post virtually on the full-time whistle, but Leicester held on for a deserved victory, I would say, 1-0. So Chelsea 0, Leicester 1. So Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth at home to Brighton, a South Coast derby, so to speak. And the 7 out of the last 8 games Bournemouth had lost, so they were really looking for a good result here. Andona was in for Murray, he was on the bench for Brighton. Lacadia drew a goose save from Begovic early on, but Bournemouth were having the bet of it. On 21 minutes, Brooks, impressive throughout, hit a great strike that sweetly hit the bottom corner of Ryan's goal, so the Cherries 1-up. Into the second half, and a Stanislav free kick just went wide, and then Dunk managed to get a second yellow card. The first one, it didn't look like he was responsible, but anyway, he was off, and Brighton struggled with 10. Eventually, Brooks got his brace with a neat header over Ryan on 77 minutes to seal a deserved win for Eddie Howe's Bournemouth. So that's how it ended, 2-0. To the John Smith Stadium, and Southampton were the visitors. So we had Hasenhüttl from Austria up against Wagner from Germany. I'm sure they were able to communicate quite easily in their common tongue. But it was Southampton who got on the front foot early on. Redmond on 15 minutes, a great finish after some neat passing from the halfway line. Ings got clipped in the box and jumped up and converted a penalty on 42 minutes, and Southampton well in the driving seat, 2-0. Mounier should have done better late in the first half, but it was 2-0 at the break. Into the second half, and Huddersfield were on the front foot. Their pressure paid off on 58 when Billy shot went in. McCarthy guilty really of poor movement, so it was 2-1. The Terriers back in the game. But Mapensa nearly equalised a bit later, but McCarthy made up for his poor effort on the goal by pushing the effort wide. Then on 71s, Obafemia clipped the ball home from a cool finish to give the breathing space to Southampton. They went on to win that one by 3-1. So to the London Stadium, West Ham versus Watford. Both sides going well. Hernandez was looking for his 50th goal. The Hammers were still without Arnautovic. Kapoor was back for Watford. Early incident involving Babuena, who took out Pereira, and Deeney converted the penalty on 30 minutes to put the Hornets 1-up. Hernandez forced a smart save from Foster just before the break, but Watford went in 1-up. Into the second half, and Antonio hit an upright early on for West Ham from a corner, and Fabianski also prevented a decoy effort for Watford, which would have put them 2-0 up. However, on 80 minutes, Deeney should have doubled the lead, but he hit it straight at Fabianski. And another effort by Antonio hit the woodwork after an agile save from Foster. Definitely man of the match was Foster. Deulofeu sealed the win on 87 minutes with some nice and neat passing and a cool finish. The Hornets deserved winners by 2-0. So to St James's Park, Newcastle are home to bottom club Fulham. This report is going to be extremely brief. Mitrovic was in, returning to face his old club, but I can't say that I really noticed him. It was an uneventful first half. Kennedy was brought on to liven things up in the second half, and he didn't really manage to do that either. It was a game with very few chances, and it ended in a dull, goalless draw. So to the final game of the weekend on Sunday, the only fixture on Sunday, and we had Everton clashing with Spurs at Goodison Park. And what a fantastic game it was. I saw some brief highlights, and I wished I'd stayed up and watched all of it. But let's go through them anyway. It all got started really around about the 20th minute mark. A great piece of work by Sigurdsson put Calvert-Lewin through. He went to the byline, and his cross ended up on the penalty spot, and Walcott was there coming in, and he finished it off by placing the ball in the corner. That was 1-0 to the Toffees. Then on 26 minutes, the ball was kicked upfield, Son running onto it. Zuma and Pickford got in a mess. They sort of didn't sort themselves out. The ball fell for Son. He was a little bit wide of the goal, but he finished with sublime confidence, and that was 1 each. Things got worse for Everton on 35 minutes. Son again causing havoc, and Pickford had to be sharp to save his shot. The ball cannoned off Pickford's legs, but it fell to Dele Alli, who was following up, and his effort went in the centre of the goal, and it was 2-1 Spurs. Things got worse. On 41 minutes, Trippier's free kick hit the post. The ball rebounded to Kane, and he doesn't miss those sort of chances. It was 3-1, and Pickford looked completely cheesed off at that, as the luck had certainly run for Spurs. Now on 48 minutes, Eriksson put them 4-1 up with a terrific hit from 30 yards in the corner after the Everton defence had cleared rather miserably. They did fight back though, and Sigurdsson was the next on the score sheet after good movement. Took him to the edge of the box. He created some space and hit it wide of Lloris. 60 minutes, De Mellera was now in the game, and he linked up with Son, and they seemed to pick a hole through the heart of the Everton defence, and he finished with aplomb, pushing it through Pickford's legs. So we were back to 5-2, and Son crowned a tremendous night for Spurs on 73 minutes when his left foot cross finished in front of Kane, whose deft touch sailed in the corner. So a resounding victory for Pochettino's Spurs by 6 goals to 2. So that concludes this week's fixtures. The goal of the week, well, there's absolutely no doubt about that. It's that terrific second goal by Townsend for Palace against Man City. We'll be back on Boxing Day.